Alright, everybody. It's been a while since I last posted on my channel, but I want to start trying to get back into YouTube. I just haven't had much motivation to do any recording in a long time. But with the release of Elden Ring, I've been playing a character and I've been really enjoying it, so I want to make a YouTube series on it. And for this series, I'm playing a warrior type character and my private save. So in this, I'm going to be playing a mage, and so I'll be making a new game. And depending on interests, I will show you, if you guys want, what my solo character looks like. For this first episode, I'm probably just gonna do my mage, but we'll see where we go from there. Now, I need to actually choose who I want to play. I think I'm going to play the astrologer. Um, we will name him Mark. We'll mature. Our keepsake. We're gonna go with the golden seed. Extra heals is always nice. I don't really do any detailed appearances, but I'm gonna choose a good base that I don't mind. Sure, let's go with the Three-Lander. I'll go quiet so that if you haven't seen the beginning cutscene, you can watch it.
The fallen leaves tell a story. The great Elden Ring was shattered. In our home, across the fog, the lands between. Now, Queen Marika the Eternal is nowhere to be found. And in the night of the Black Knives, Godwyn the Golden was first to perish. Soon, Marika's offspring, demigods all, claimed the shards of the Elden Ring. The mad taint of their newfound strength triggered the shattering. A war from which no lord arose. A war leading to abandonment by the greater will. Oh, rise now, Ye tarnished, ye dead who yet live, the call of long-lost grace speaks to us all. Horalu, chieftain of the Badlands, the ever-brilliant Gold Mask. Fear, the deathbed companion, the loathsome dung-eater, and Sir Gideon Othmere, the all-knowing. And one other, whom grace would again bless, a tarnished of no renown. Cross the fog to the lands between, to stand before the Elden Ring and become the Elden Lord.
Alright, so here we are. Uh, we are, as he said, a tarnished of no renown. We were awakened by some kind of blessing. Uh, I guess it would be called grace, as you find sites of grace throughout the game. And we are going to go ahead and get started. Now, this first boss, uh, it is not entirely a scripted loss. It doesn't matter whether if you lose to him, but you do get a reward for beating him. So I'm going to give it my best shot at beating him, but no promises. Here he is, the grafted sign. You know, frames dropping a bit. I apologize about that. I don't really have the best computer, but hopefully the frame dropping will stop. I am not talking much, I'm just trying to focus on not getting hit. One more hit will finish me. Well, he's a tough guy to fight at the beginning. I haven't personally beat him. I've made several characters and attempted to, but I've never managed to. So I didn't really expect to beat him there, but it was worth an attempt.
fiery torrent. Fortune is on his side. We found him here, after all. One of his kind is sure to seek the Elden Ring. Even if it does violate the Golden Order.
One thing I do want to say is I don't know if these episodes will have an outro because I don't really have a good way to keep track of time, and so I'm going to be ending whenever it feels like a good place to end. If it's an hour from now, I'll probably split it into two separate parts. If it's, I don't know, if I feel like a good time's maybe 30 minutes after I start, then I'll, of course, go ahead and choose to end it there. And I don't really have a way of knowing because you know what they say, time flies when you're having fun. And so it will really just depend. Uh, if I'll definitely do an outro when I stop recording, but the outro may not be until a later part. Uh, but for the most part, I'm gonna try to keep these episodes at around half an hour. If you guys want to see longer episodes, just leave a comment. I don't mind at all. I love this game. Oh, wrong thing. Uh, I really like this game, and I have a good time playing it, and so I wouldn't mind playing more. But I will leave that up to all of you. Do, we do not need to pull the lever. The elevator is down here. If you notice, the game doesn't look as good as some of the other people who play this on YouTube. It's because I have to play on the lowest graphics, otherwise it barely runs. So, uh, if that's something that bothers you, then I misclicked. Then that's obviously something that you'll want. This is something you'll want to steer away from.
Oh, yes. Tarnished, are we? Come to the
I am
lands
indeed.
between for the Elden Ring? Hmm? Of course you have. No shame in it. Unfortunately for you, however, you are maidenless. Without guidance, without the strength of runes, and without an invitation to the Round Table Hold, you are fated, it seems, to die in obscurity.
I am going to avoid the first boss, just mainly because he's he's a difficult fight, and I definitely want to wait until I have my maiden, which I can get by finding 3 of those sites of grace out here in the lands between. And I know where 3 of them are, but I probably won't head to the 3rd one right away. I'm definitely gonna head to the 2nd one right away, though, as it is right here in this small little church. There is also a merchant, and we get some smithing stones here. Which, oh, didn't realize this in my, I didn't realize this in my single player playthrough, but you can actually upgrade your tools here. I guess I just didn't really look at that after collecting the item. So first of all, we'll go ahead and touch the site of grace, which just unlocks it and we'll respawn there if we are to die.
You're tarnished. I can see it. And I can also see that you're not after my throat. Then why not purchase a little something? I am Kale, purveyor of fine goods.
And we don't have any runes right now, but we can buy whatever we want from him once we get enough runes, of course. The first thing I'll probably get is the crafting kit, because the crafting kit does come in handy. Once we get some of those cracked pots that you saw, we can start making different types of bombs with them. Like, they're, well, different kinds of pots. They work pretty much the same as fire bombs from the Dark Souls games. Seeing as this is from Software, same people who made Dark Souls, it's not all too surprising, but it's something I don't believe we've seen before, crafting in this kind of sense of the word. And what I did up there was that points me towards a dungeon, an optional dungeon that we can complete in order to get some loot. We'll kill enemies in there, and we will earn runes for each enemy killed. We will also end up fighting a boss in here. I don't remember which boss this one is, but it shouldn't be too difficult of one, because this is one of the first dungeons you come across, of course. A proper death means returning to the Earth Tree. Have patience until the time comes and the roots call to you. There's an enemy there, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to take it out with magic before. Oh, there's another one there. Forgot about him. Maybe if I can hit him. There we go. And our flasks, we have our Cerulean Tears flask, which restores our mana, or FP as it's called. And we have our Crimson Tears, which restores our HP. Which we don't need quite yet, but it will obviously come in handy. Okay, that's the only 2 I see. Want to make sure I'm collecting as much as possible in here. Now the way these work is you can actually hit them with something and it will cause them to go down. I don't think our spell has quite enough range for that to hit that though, so we're gonna have to move a little bit closer. There we go. Well, we got down, but just not in time. So since we rested at the site of grace that's up at the beginning of the dungeon, we should respawn there. Yep. And we don't need to go back over there because we already got everything that's over there. So we'll just keep moving along this way. I should do this. This allows summoning. Not that we can summon anything right now, but go ahead and take out these guys again. Now, the flamethrower pillar should still be down. Yes, it is. So we can just run right past it and pick up the prowling plate. Hello, which is, as far as I know, only really for multiplayer or to communicate with other players. We're gonna wait for this to go again. We're gonna run. We didn't quite make it, but that's alright. We can heal. Gonna wait for that to go. Run side of it so that we don't get hit, and we'll hit it with the spell to knock it down. There are these guys on the walls, so we'll just go ahead and hit them with magic in order to clear them out. Oh, there are two right there, so we'll take them out as well. I'm not sure what causes my spells to be dealing more damage, but I mean, I'm not going to complain if my spells do more damage. I will drink a healing because I don't know, I don't remember what's up here. Just to be safe. Looks like there's an enemy there, as indicated by that little specter thing. We need to drink that so that we can go ahead and cast our magic at this guy. That little bar that pops up when these guys hit me is an indicator for bleed. When that completely fills up, it does a lot of damage to me. It doesn't do damage over time, it just does a large tick of damage and then the bar disappears, which can then, they can then obviously start reapplying bleed. Now we do run out of mana FP here. I'll probably end up calling it mana a lot just because that's what feels natural. Most of the time it's called mana. But I will try to call it FP when I remember. So just keep in mind that mana is equivalent to FP. So since we ran out of FP, I had to switch to my sword, which I used to take care of that guy. And you'll notice that we only get a certain amount of each flask. Once those are out, we have to go back to a site of grace and rest at it in order to refill them, which will also completely refill our health and FP. And that lever we pulled opened that door, which should lead us into the boss of this area. The Erdtree Burial Watchdog. Ow. If it's going to do that, we have some time to just cast gonna try to put some distance between us and use one of our FP restorations. Trying to keep distance and keep casting spells at him. And we took him down. And he gives us the Noble Sorcerer Ashes. Let's make sure there are no other items in here. It doesn't look like it. So we can use this. Actually, is there something over here? No. I saw the messages, thought maybe there was some kind of material. We can use this handy little source of light to return to the entrance of the dungeon. Also, keep in mind load times are going to be a little longer for me since I'm, like I said, not on the best computer. We will actually run down to here and replenish the flask we use, well, the 2 flasks we used, I guess, and our FP. I'm probably not going to use magic on the small guys, at least not right now, because we have a fairly limited amount of FP, but once we start getting more flasks and once we get the ability to level up, I will probably start using magic on the weaker guys. You can see we got a backstab there, which just means we did a light attack from directly behind an enemy, which initiates the backstab sequence. We'll collect some of these Roa fruits, and we'll start making our way towards the 3rd Side of Grace we need. And the reason why it didn't count when I got the one in the dungeon is it has to be out here in like the free roam area of the world. Is where the Side of Graces need to be. Well, he detected us coming up on him, but we still got the backstab anyways. Yeah, we'll go ahead and run through this cave real fast. Instead of getting hit and using a flask, we might as well just rest here so that we have all of our HP back. Now summon here, but that is of course when we get the ability to summon. I believe that is the alpha. Yeah, he was definitely the alpha. He had a lot more health than these guys. So we'll go ahead and take them out. And we got our first cracked pot. We can't do anything with it yet as we don't have any crafting recipes, but we will be able to use it soon enough. And for those of you who have seen other Souls games, but not Elden Ring, which you've probably seen Elden Ring if you're watching mine, considering I'm not popular at all, obviously. I have maybe 5 subscribers at the time of recording this, I think. But in other Souls games, you cannot do really jumping attacks, because jumping you had to be sprinting to do, which they changed for Elden Ring. Probably should have gone back and refilled our flasks, but that's okay. If I remember right, this guy wasn't too difficult. I say it as we take a hit, but got greedy. Something you never want to do in Souls-like games is get greedy. I don't know how he didn't hit us with that lunge. It definitely looked like it should have hit, but I'm not going to complain about that. We got our first talisman, and talismans are pretty much rings from other Souls-like games. This one just boosts our resistance to fire damage. Not the most helpful, considering nothing really has any fire damage quite yet, but we'll still equip it. Of course, the guys with the torches do hit us with them occasionally, but for the most part, nothing's really attacking with fire yet. I can actually check how long we've been going for right here. We've been going for just about 30 minutes, so what I'll do is, to wrap up this episode, I will make my way over to the third side of grace. We'll get introduced to our maiden, and then we will call this episode there. On my way over there, I would like to say I'd very much appreciate if you liked the video, only if you enjoyed it, of course. And if you do think you'll like seeing the rest of my playthrough, please consider subscribing. Uh, don't feel obligated to, but it would help me out a lot. And yeah, so here we are. And I don't know if it's upon touching the grace or resting at it. Okay, it's upon resting at it. And we will now meet our maiden.
Greetings, traveler from beyond the fog. I am Melina. I offer you an accord. Have you heard of the Finger Maidens?
We've heard of them
They
somewhat.
serve the Two Fingers, offering guidance and aid to the tarnished. But you, I am afraid, are maidenless. I can play the role of maiden, turning runes into strength to aid you in your search for the Elden Ring. You need only take me with you to the foot of the Erd Tree.
We are, of course, going to
Summon me
accept.
by grace to turn runes into strength. Ah, another matter. I bequeath to you this ring. Use it to traverse great distances. It will summon a spectral steed named Torrent chosen you. Treat him with respect.
We shall. And now we
Shall
have
I
an
turn
option
your
to
wounds to
level
strength?
up.
Let my hand
So
rest
just
upon
before we
you.
end this episode,
For but a moment,
I will
share them with
level
me.
up.
Your thoughts, your ambitions,
Gonna put a
the principles you would
few
follow.
points into our mind, and yeah, we'll put 2 points into intelligence as well to help with our spell casting. And so, anyways, everybody, seeing as we're just about at the 30-minute mark, I'm going to end the video here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time. Later.